Guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
First one is titled, Karen thinks that I'm an employee ignoring her, pulls my ponytail, gets knocked down and arrested. This happened a few years ago before COVID. I'm a disabled Army veteran who also has PTSD. I am also hearing impaired and wear hearing aids. I decided to go to Wally World for a few items. I took my PTSD service dog with me. I didn't have my hearing aids as they had gone in for repairs, so I'm pretty deaf. It was hot in the store, so I took off my coat and put it on my relator. I also have a cane with me, which I use to get items down from high shelves. Unfortunately, I was wearing my favorite shirt, a long-sleeved royal blue t-shirt with a neon green Maori-te Heiki goddess, sitting in all her naked glory, tilted head, bug-eyed, and sticking her tongue out. Something a Wally World employee wouldn't wear. My hair was in a ponytail. I had taken off my disabled Army veteran cap because I was hot. So I'm going down the aisle slowly, obviously because I'm disabled, using my relator, with my dog on my left side. I'm a high-functioning autistic with a bit of OCD, so I tend to straighten out shelves as I go. No big deal, right? Wrong. Now, I'm doing my thing, pretty deaf without my hearing aids. I could read lips if you face me, when all of a sudden, my dog turns around and starts pulling. Then someone behind me pulls on my ponytail hard and almost knocks me over. I react instinctively, haul back with a titanium-plated elbow to the person's gut, then swing up my hand with a karate fist to the person's face. No thought, just pure instinct. Then I grabbed my cane from the basket of my relator, spun around, and got into a defensive position. I had also pushed the 911 alert button around my neck and yelled that I had been assaulted and location, etc., and 911 replied that cops were being dispatched. There she was, getting up from the floor with a bloody nose, a wild Karen. She screamed, "Help! I've been assaulted by an employee." I roared back at her in my drill sergeant voice. "Why the duck makes you think that I work here? I have a relator and a service dog. I don't work here. You assaulted me." "Yes, you work here. I saw you straighten up the shelves." Karen insisted. "That doesn't mean that I work here," I yelled. "I have OCD and like to straighten up things." "Quit lying. You work here, and you assaulted me. I'm going to get you fired and you're going to go to jail." My service dog is going crazy and barking. I'm very upset and crying, and my service dog is trying to calm me down. Store employees, the manager and security come, and shortly the police. We go to the store office. They put us in separate rooms. The police review the tapes, and one takes my statement. A nice female store employee is with me in the room because I'm crying and very upset. The security and police finish reviewing the camera footage and ask me if I want to press charges. I say, definitely yes. Karen gets upset by this, kicks the police and resists arrest. I find out that this is not her first offense of harassing and assaulting customers or employees, so she will serve some long jail time. I get a $250 gift card from the store, my service dog gets us several bags of treats from the store, and I get profuse apologies from the store manager. And my naked te Heiki goddess still has her silly grin on her face and her tongue sticking out. Thank you, goddess, for protecting me. Next one is titled, Entitled neighbor is angry because I didn't do something that she never asked me to. This incident happened a few days ago. For some background information, I live in a 3-story building. The first floor is occupied by our family friend, my dad, and he has been best friends since their college days. I have pretty much known them my entire life. We occupy the second floor, and the third floor has been occupied by another family. Recently, the first floor family decided to take a trip north for about 10 days. So, when either of our family are out, we tend to take in their parcels and other small stuff. Before the downstairs family left, they instructed us to take in any parcels from Amazon on behalf of them. Now, both my parents work, and I had to go to college. When the parcel arrived, the only person there to receive them was my grandmother. Apparently, the lady downstairs ordered a bunch of stuff and chose to pay COD. My grandmother, at that moment, didn't have enough cash to pay for the stuff, so the delivery person had to take it back with him. When the lady got a call about the unreceived parcel, she called my mother and asked her about it. When my mom narrated what had happened, she simply insisted that my mother stay at home and receive her stuff the following day. Now, coming to the other part. Every month we call in a person to clean our cars because they tend to get very dirty riding through the muddy country roads. When the family were on their trip, I had called a bunch of people to professionally clean our car. When the family returned back from the trip, they noticed that our car looked cleaner than theirs. That evening she called me out and demanded why I hadn't gotten their car cleaned when we had gotten ours done. When I simply stated how I was never informed that they would have also liked to have their car cleaned. Mind you, we usually called them on the same day every month. The lady flipped at that and screamed how that was a basic sense and that she had a very important conference the next day for which she needed to take the car out. I asked her, if it were that important, she should have at least bothered to inform me or not gone to the trip and taken care of it. She has been giving my mom and me a cold shoulder ever since and demands that we apologize. A user in the comments said, COD? You're their neighbor, not their bank. I hope no one paid for their items. If they wanted them accepted, they needed to give you the money to do so. The car, not your responsibility. Boundaries are apparently something that need to be set. Parents and friends wouldn't expect this servitude. Tell them to apologize for trying to take advantage of you. Next one is titled, Karen lost her parking ticket, wants a new one. Yesterday midday, the supermarket with a conjoined parking lot with Cancun's Costco. A parking lot free with purchase for customers, but that absolutely needs ticket machines and high prices because there are 2 stadiums within walking distance. As I was rolling in, I saw a woman on foot pushing at the ticket machine. To be fair, my quarter-ton of electric tuk-tuk is absolutely silent at low speed, and my aftermarket horn is loud enough to pluck a chicken, and I don't consider myself an a-hole, so I'm invisible to most pedestrians. Therefore, she took several seconds to notice me, but then she stood aside for me to take my place at the machine and push the button. At first nothing, so I board out the other side of the car and start gesturing the cars behind me to reverse, but then the machine buzzes loudly and produces it. Before I got back in, Karen swoops in, takes my ticket, and begins walking away toward a car that now I notice was holding up one of the outgoing ramps. Hey, that's my ticket. Is it? She says, trying to act oblivious. Gesturing at my tuk-tuk, I say, I put the weight of a vehicle on top of the sensor, so it is mine. And having caught up to her, snatched the ticket, boarded my tuk-tuk and drove in. Last I saw of her about a minute later, she was bargaining with a taxi driver at the machine for his ticket. Hope you had to pay a full day, Karen. Next one is titled, Do Not Take My Memory of Her. Before I begin the story, there is need of some context. I'm a male in my 30s living north of the state that this happened in. The story took place about 6 years ago, so my memory may be a bit fuzzy. I had only fallen in love with one woman, whom we'll call Samantha. Now, Samantha was perfect in every way. She is smart, funny, beautiful, and we had very close interests in the same things, such as the same type of music and food tastes and more. Plus, we enjoyed the casual live-action role-playing. She and I met in high school and had fallen in love months later. She was 4'11", and I am 5'11", but our shirts and hoodies fit one another. This will be important later. We were together for about 5 years, but she developed stage 4 neurofibromatosis, a nerve cancer, and died 2 months after being admitted into the hospital. What she had left that was in my possession are memories, and the only thing I have to keep some connection with her, as I live across the country from where her grave is. Now, on to the story. At the time this happened, I was in good old Southern California, dealing with the blazing heat and the burning sun. However, I was about to be moving to a cooler state, so I was doing some preparations. I went to several stores that sold cooler weather clothes and had no luck finding things that I liked, so I decided to go to one of those hand-me-down stores that you can donate old stuff, and by hint, it begins with a G. I was in a white t-shirt, blue jeans, combat boots, and for some reason, a My Chemical Romance, black parade hoodie. I'm currently wearing it as I type this out. This hoodie was special to me because it belonged to Samantha. It was old, holes were on the shoulders from homemade spikes she placed in there to look more goth with it, as well as on the sleeves, but the zipper worked, and it kept me warm. Perfect for those chilly transit buses in the town I was in. Once I got to the store, I began to browse. Now, this particular day was very hot, and the AC barely worked, so I took my hoodie off and tied it around my waist by the sleeves. While searching, I found this nice tan trench coat that was for sale, $25. Not bad for a used coat. It was in perfect condition. Slipping the hoodie off of my waist, I set it down on the shelf nearby so I could try the coat on. I liked it and wanted to take it, so I slid it off and draped it over my arm. I turned to grab my hoodie and it was gone. I looked on the ground and around and it was nowhere to be found. I took the trench coat that I was going to buy with me and was about to go to the register, and that's where I found it. My hoodie. In the hands of one of them, a Karen. She had the exact look you'd expect of one. Blonde hair, messy makeup, skin that looks as if the wrinkles were ironed out, and a face that said, "I want to speak to your manager's manager." She had taken my hoodie to the front and was going to purchase it. I stepped forward, and this is how the conversation went to my best memory. Me, "Excuse me, ma'am, but I believe you have my hoodie." Karen, "Your hoodie? This is mine as soon as I buy it. I couldn't find a price tag, so I'm gonna ask how much for it." Me, "No, you see, that hoodie was mine. I set it on the shelf to try on this coat." I proceed to show her the trench coat. Karen, "No, it was on the shelf, so it was for sale." Me, "No ma'am, it belongs to me." Karen, "What are you talking about? Are you trying to steal it from me because you want it? I found it first." Me, "Please, give it back. It belonged to my fiancé who—" Karen, cutting me off, "No, I will not give you the hoodie." She screamed those words and drew attention from multiple people. One of the store associates notices the commotion and steps forward. She speaks softly, "Hey, is everything okay over here?" Before I could answer, Karen cuts me off, shouting and pointing an accusing finger of me, saying, "This boy tried to take this jacket from me when I went to buy it. He tried to steal from me." I explain, "The hoodie belongs to me. I had it with me when I first came in and took it off to try on this coat. The hoodie belonged to my fiancé, whom died of cancer 3 years ago." Karen shouts, "Liar. You only want it because I have it." The employee turns to Karen and explains, "Ma'am, there is no need to shout." She turns to me and says, "Can you prove that it is yours?" By this time, a manager was called to come to the front to get an understanding of the situation. I nod and pull out my phone, finding a picture of Samantha wearing the hoodie with me in the picture, and showed it to her. The employee nods and turns to Karen, "Ma'am, please return the hoodie to him." Karen, "No, I will not. I found it on the shelf, and I will not leave without it." By this time, the manager had heard enough and police were called. 20 minutes later they arrive, and Karen is still ranting on how unfair she is being treated, and that she will get them all fired for trying to force her to give up my hoodie. The officer pulled me aside and I explained my side while another took her statement. I showed the officer the picture and explained the hoodie belonged to my fiancé whom died, and it meant a lot to me. It's one of the few memories I have left of her. The officers then were taken to the back to view security footage, and what did they find? Me coming into the store with the hoodie around my waist and Karen taking it while I was trying the coat on. A few minutes later, and Karen is forced to give me back my hoodie and was told to leave. While being escorted out, she flips me off and stomps out. I got my hoodie back, and the manager apologized for the inconvenience and even offered to let me have the trench coat for free. I declined because this company makes its money off of purchases here, but I settled for 25% off the coat, which I then used the change to buy a cold Mountain Dew. I can care less if you steal from me, but do not steal my memories with her. Last one is titled, "Wild Entitled People." Basically, I work at a Wendy's, and there have been so many entitled people in the store and drive-thru. This is a short story about the drive-thru and dining room. Here's how it started. Drive-thru. Basically at Wendy's, there is a place called coordinating, essentially bag up and make drinks. Well, some lady had a problem with a strawberry lemonade. She said it had too much ice and made a problem out of it. I will let you know that she was yelling at 2 minors and an adult manager asking to fight her. She had a problem because she didn't want a watery lemonade. We put the exact amount of ice in the cup, and I didn't hear from this lady again. Dining room. I was up front of the dining room. It was lunch hour, breakfast ends at 10:30, and some dude ordered a sandwich with no cheese, forgot the rest, and he created a problem, then yelled at my manager for having bad employees. He couldn't just say, "Can I have no cheese on my sandwich?" But no, he had a problem with our Wendy's because he came 2 days in a row and his order was wrong. He was nicely banned from the Wendy's. Also, another encounter again because you have to wear a mask in the Wendy's, not my rule by the way, store's rule. And some lady said the F word in front of like 4 people and her kids. Listen, don't be these people, follow the rules. Thanks for listening.